in the trenches I was with my TBR. And I'm currently crashing out. I'm kindly just gonna see myself out. Hi everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Book Blabs, or welcome to your very first episode of Book Blabs. I'm Nat, and I love to blab all things books. So, it has in fact been a minute. Welcome back. Today's going to be a chattier video, so grab a snack, grab a drink. I've got my Awala with some good old water. Today I'm going to be talking about series that I'm currently in the middle of. And I'm currently crashing out because I had to cap myself at 60, meaning there are more than 60 series I'm in the middle of. Hi, a quick input from future Nat / editing Nat. So I filmed this video so long ago that now as I'm editing, I've realized there are series that I've finished. So the series that I've already finished, I'm removing those clips. So actually there will be less than 60. But yeah, what I mean to say is there are other series that I'm still in the middle of. So let me know if you want to see another video with those other series as well. But I was like, you know what? For my sanity, I'm capping it. I'm also going to try to rush through these because your girl doesn't have time to yap about 60 series in depth. I know you're busy. I'm busy. I've got things to do, but let's just go through it because I didn't realize how in the trenches I was with my TBR. It just makes me cry a little bit inside. Okay? Yeah. Okay. The first series I'm in the middle of is Hush Hush by Becca. So the first series I'm in the middle of is Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick. I have currently read the first two books, which is Hush Hush and Crescendo. I still need to read... Oh, wait. Is the third book Crescendo? No, I think the third book is Silence, and then there's Finale or something like that. Currently enjoying the series. I know that it was really popular a long time ago, and I'm just kind of behind on the train, but you know what? Better late than never. Next, I have Fae and Alchemy. I am all caught up. I've read Quicksilver and Brimstone. I am very excited for later this year when the third book comes out. This one's by Callie Hart. I absolutely eat up the series. I'm so excited for the next book. Next, I have Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I've only read the first book in the series, and I know there was the original trilogy, and then there's like 2 or 3 additional books maybe. I think it's a total of 6. I'm not 100% sure. I have an extremely unpopular opinion about this series where I thought it was just kind of overhyped / mid. I do think eventually I might read the second book and continue with the series, but it's not high on my priority just because I went into it with such high expectations that I was a little bit disappointed. Next, we have the Maid series, which is by Daniel Laurie. I've only read the first book, and I believe it's interconnected standalones. At this point in time, I don't know if I'm going to continue with the other interconnected standalones, just because I think they're like mafia romances. I did really, really love the first one, so maybe if I am like particularly craving a dark mafia romance, I might check out book 2, but we will see. Next, we have Web of Silence Duet by Lee Rivers. I read the first book, which was Little Stranger. I think I rated it 1 star, so I will not be continuing with this duet. I apologize if you loved it. I just was not a fan of this. The writing style, the content matter, not for me. Next we have The Sacred Stones, which is A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden. I read the first book. I don't know if this is a series or a duology or duet or whatever you want to call it. I barely remember the first book. I remember thinking it was good. I think I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. And if I do continue the series, I'm going to need a recap of book 1 because I could not even tell you a single thing about it. Next we have The Fire That Binds Us by Juliet Cross. The first book is called Firebird, and I know it has to do with like dragon shifters. I remember really enjoying this book, and I am excited for book 2. I don't know if it's already out, but yes, at some point I do want to continue with this series. We have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I've only read book 1. I still need to read book 2 and 3, which I don't remember their names. I think the third one's Finale, but I don't remember what the second book is called. I remember liking Caraval. I didn't love it, but I really liked it. So yes, I plan on continuing this series at some point. Next we have Sweetwater Peak by Lila Sage. I have already pre-ordered book 2. I think it comes out later this year, maybe in October. I'm so excited. I loved the first book. It was just kind of this like, it's kind of like Ghost Whisperer, if you remember that show, and then like meets like romance. It was just very good. I loved how the main character had to go on through this emotional journey, as well as like, you know, falling in love and like experiencing vulnerability in that way. She also had things to do with like her family and herself. So I'm excited for book 2, which I think is the twin sister story. Next we have Chestnut Springs by Elsie Silver. I've only read the first book and I loved the first book, so I also heard a TV show is coming out, so I have to read the other 4 before that TV show comes out, because you know me, I'm not going to want any spoilers, so I think I just need to get on it. They're all on Kindle Unlimited, so maybe this summer I will, you know, binge me some cowboy romances. Next we have Light Lark by Alex Astor. I am all caught up. I have no idea when the next book is coming out, but I am like gnawing on the cage, just waiting to be let out to read this book. Like, I am so excited. The cliffhangers are always diabolical. She does such a good job of just like giving you just enough but making you want more. So I'm so excited. I think it's the last book in the series that's going to come out, but I thought the 4th book was going to be the last book, so who knows what's going on. Next we have Heroes of Olympus by Rick Riordan. I've only read book 1 because it was on Kindle Unlimited, and the other books are not on Kindle Unlimited. I do want to continue this series at some point as well. However, it does read a little bit young, so I feel like I can't just really binge them because I kind of get a little bit bored because it's a little bit hand-holdy for a book, and I like to do a little bit more thinking. Next we have Boston Blues by Molly Gaines. I don't remember. I read Picture Us because it was on Kindle Unlimited as a buddy read with my friend Lexi not too long ago, because we were kind of craving a baseball romance. At this point in time, I really don't think I'm going to continue with the series because I think it's interconnected standalones. So I think I'm just going to pass. Next we have Ghosted by B.K. Borison. I absolutely loved, Good Spirits? And I think later this year, the second book comes out. I think it's Grim Tidings or something. I will be purchasing it. I will be reading it. I remember the first book was so festive. I love B.K. Borison's writing, so I will be continuing. I think it's also interconnected standalones, but love. Next we have Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Maurer. I'm all caught up. I'm waiting for the next book patiently, but also impatiently at the same time. So, Hannah, I love you. I'm not rushing you, but also I'm kind of dying over here. If you want to send your girl an arc, you don't know who I am, but I will devour it. I promise, if you do. Next I have Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I honestly didn't know this was part of a series. I thought it was just a one and done, but then I saw that there was a Ready Player 2, and then I saw that the reviews for it were not the greatest. So at this point in time, I do not think I'm going to continue. I loved Ready Player One, so I think I'm just going to leave it on a high note, and I'm just going to leave it at that. So we have the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros. Same thing. I am patiently but impatiently waiting. The cliffhanger for book 3 for Onyx Storm was absolutely diabolical, and I still think about it and like get upset, but also get pissed, but also get sad, but also get excited. Like I just don't know how to feel about it, like at all whatsoever. I don't know. I'm so excited for the next book, but then I'm like, if I just buy the book and binge it the second it comes out, then I'm gonna have to wait a really long time for, because I don't know. I don't think this is the last book. I think it's a 5-book series. So who knows? I don't know. But I just know that I'm very excited to continue that series. Next, we have the Vipers series by Rena Kent. I read the first book and I think I gave it 3 or 4 stars. But I don't think I'm going to continue just because Rena Kent's writing is very dark and very controversial, I should say. There's a lot of like dubious consent or non-consent in her books, and it just makes me uncomfortable sometimes because I feel like I don't know if I should be enjoying. And I'm not trying to yuck anybody's yum. If you love Rena Kent, more power to you. I respect your decision. Just me personally, it causes a lot of anxiety and inner turmoil in me. So I'm like, I just don't think I should spend my energy in something that's going to make me anxious. Next, we have Arc of a Scythe series by Neil Shusterman. I've only read the first book, which is Scythe, and I have the other books, which is like Thunderhead and I forgot what is it, Gleanings or something? I don't know. I don't remember. But I am very excited to continue this series. I'm not a science fiction girly, but this science fiction young adult series is absolutely chef's kiss. Next we have The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. This is another interconnected standalone series. I've read the first 2, which is The Friend Zone and The Happy Ever After playlist. I think the only one that I'm missing is Life's Too Short, which I own it, but I still just need to read it. Next we have Into Darkness by Nevessa Allen. I did not really enjoy Lights Out too much, so I do not think I'm going to be continuing the series. Next we have Dream Harbor by Lori Gilmore. I thought the Pumpkin Spice Cafe was cute. You know, it did its job. It was festive. It was cutesy. I liked the little baby mystery aspect in it. It was a bit cheesy, but like I kind of liked that. I think I will continue the series at some point, but I'm not in a rush to, and I think it's very much like a vibes read. So maybe if I'm trying to get into like the vibes, because I love how each book is centered around like a season almost. So I think the next one is like the Cinnamon Bun Cafe or something. So I feel like that gives fall, which leads into like the Christmas Tree Farm, which is like winter. So I think I'll be reading them throughout various seasons. Next we have Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. I have Rite of the Starling behind me on that shelf, and I have not read it yet, but I'm very excited to. I think book 3 comes out later this year, if not early next year, so I kind of need to get on it. Next we have Heartstrings by B.K. Borison. I read First Time Caller and I absolutely loved it, and then I think the next one is, it already came out with the blue cover, and Now Back to You, I believe. I do not own this book yet, but it is on my wish list. I'm very excited to read this one. I love, like I said earlier, B.K. Borison's writing, and I thought the first book was so cute. And I love that the main male character was kind of briefly introduced in the first book, and so now I kind of know what he's like. And so now that he's going to be the main character in the second book, I'm just so excited. I think it's going to be really sweet. Next we have Regency Fairy Tales by Olivia Atwater. I read, I think it's called Half a Soul with my book club. I did not know this was part of like a standalone series. I don't think I'll be continuing. Maybe if the time or the mood comes up, I'll keep Olivia Atwater in mind, but at this time I just don't really have an interest in continuing these standalones. Next we have Off Campus by Elle Kennedy. You bet your lawnmower I'm going to be continuing. I've only read the first book, which is The Deal, and I binge watched the show. I'm obsessed with it, and now I know that they're filming. I think they might start filming June 1st for season 2. They've already cast Grace, so now I need to know. I don't know. I need to read the rest of the books because I don't want any spoilers, because I know the show's doing the order of things a little bit differently to try to make choices that make more sense. So before that season 2 comes out, I will be reading the rest of the Off-Campus series. Yes. Have The Stonewater Kingdom by Rachel Gillig. I read The Night and the Moth and I absolutely loved it. It was very gothic, very poetic, very dark, very mystical almost. Like it was a very vibey book. It was beautiful. I loved how the story was told. I was so interested in it. And I think it's something in the Nave. It comes out this September and I'm so excited. I'm so ready for it. There was kind of a cliffhanger at the end of book 1, so I'm ready for book 2. Next we have Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This is another standalone series and I've actually only read book 2, which is yours truly. So I still need to read Part of Your World, which is book 1, and then I think book 3 is just for the summer, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I still need to read book 1 and 3. So we have The Silvarin by L.J. Claren. So I read The Silversmith as an arc. I want to say it was last year, and I really, really enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure book 2 is probably out now, so I just need to continue with it and just continue the series. I might need to give myself a recap because I don't remember a whole lot, but I do know that I did really enjoy it, so I'm excited to continue at some point. Next we have Dreamland Billionaires by Lauren Asher. I've only read book 1, so I need to read book 2 and 3, which I think is The Fine Print. Oh, was that the first one, The Fine Print? Then The Fine Print is the first book. And then there's Terms and Conditions, and then there's The Final Offer. And I've heard that Terms and Conditions is great, and then The Final Offer is excellent. So I know I need to continue reading that series. Next we have Serpent and Dove by Shelby Maherin. I remember really liking Serpent and Dove. So at some point, maybe. It's not super high on my priority list right now, but at some point, maybe, question mark. I don't own the second book, so who knows if/when I'll get to it, but I wouldn't be opposed. Yeah. Wicked Games by Kaylee Smith. I read Phantasma a while back, and I know that, is it Enchantra is the second book? I don't even know if there's a third book. It's like on my radar, but like with Serpent and Dove, it's not high on my priority list. I remember enjoying Phantasma. Wasn't my favorite book ever, so if I get to it, I'll get to it, and if I don't, I won't be heartbroken. Next we have Villains of Lore by Jasmine Moss, which this is Blood of Hercules series. I think I rated Blood of Hercules 1 or 2 stars. I will not be continuing this series. I'm sorry. I know that a lot of people love this series. I, however, really, really disliked it, and I will not be continuing. Next we have Kings of Sin by Anna Huang. I am not caught up. King of Gluttony recently came out this past April, and it is on my shelf, right up there, and I'm excited to read it. I have not got around to it yet, and I'm kicking myself in the shin, and then I think the last book, book 7, is probably going to come out either in the fall or next spring, so if there's only one more book. Well, 2 for me, since I still need to read King of Gluttony. But yes, I'm excited to finish and continue this series. Next we have Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi. I'm up to book 3 right now. That's including the half book. So I read like book 1, book 1.5, 2. I don't know if there was a 2.5 or whatever. But I finished book 3. I am very excited to continue the series. I, however, do not own the books, so it is hard for me to access them. But I do want to buy them at some point so I can continue it, especially since book 3 is like, I still cannot stop thinking about book 3. It's just, it's so good. And for those of you who know, you know. So yes. We have Bear Town by Frederick Backman. I really enjoyed book 1 way more than I thought I would. And I think this was actually the first Frederick Backman book I ever read. And I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm going to continue this series because I know it's a trilogy. A lot of people say it's really good and really worth reading, so I'm not opposed to it, but it's not super high on my priority list. Next, we have The Ex-Hex by Aaron Sterling. I know this is an interconnected series or interconnected standalones again. I think the second book is The Kiss Curse, and Lorelai really liked it, so I think at some point, yes, I will be reading it, maybe around like the fall or Halloween time to kind of get me in those witchy, spooky vibes. Next, we have Windy City by Liz Tomford. This is getting turned into a show, and that only sells it even more. But I know that I need to continue this because several of my friends absolutely love it. I've read the first 2 books, which is Mile High and The Right Move. So I need to read Caught Up. I need to read Play Along. There are other books that I need to read too. I forgot the names of them, but yes, I will be continuing this series. They're all on Kindle Unlimited, so I have no excuse. Next, we have The Crucible by Abigail Owen. I remember reading / listening to The Games Gods Play, and I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely loved how it's like the challenges or the Crucible vibes, and I loved the different games, and like I loved the growth our main character went on. I'm pretty sure book 2 is already out and I'm excited to read it. I just need to get around to it at some point. We have Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. At some point I do want to continue this series just because it is so beloved. However, the first book pissed me off and everyone says the whole series is like that. So I don't know how painful it will be, but at some point I will try to continue the series. We have Witchwalker by Teresa Weeks. The first book was The Witch Collector. I remember enjoying it, but I didn't remember being obsessed with it. So maybe I'll continue the series. I know book 2 is already out. I just don't know how much I'm going to prioritize it just because I have other series that I'm more excited to read. Then we have Legacy of Gods by Rena Kent. Just like my other Rena Kent series, I don't think I'm going to be continuing it just because this series I gave the first 2 books a try and it's just, I think it's a little bit much for me, a little too much. So I'm kindly just going to see myself out. We have Harry Potter. I'm pretty sure I only have books 7 and 8 left to read. Yes, I will be getting to them. Or book 7, I guess, because I know there's 8 movies, but there's 7 books, so I only have 1 book left. So yes, I will be reading it at some point. My sister's probably like, Natalie, why have you not read this series yet? Like, just finish it. You know what, I love you, Ashley. Sometimes my brain works in weird, mysterious ways. We have The Tide Child by R.J. Barker. I read the first book as one of the first books I read with my book club, and I personally did not enjoy it very much because there was not even a morsel or crumb of romance, and usually just even if they like make prolonged eye contact, that's enough to keep me interested, you know, like, or give me enough where like I can be delusional and imagine people together. This book was so dry. No, I will not be continuing in the series. Sorry, Ashley, I know you picked that book. Love you, just not the book for me. Next we have Tomes and Tea by Rebecca Thorne. I read the first book, I want to say a couple years ago maybe. You Can't Spell Treason Without Tea. I thought it was a cute, cozy, sapphic romance. If the opportunity arises to read the other books in this series, I will say yes. It's just not high on my priority TBR right now, just because sometimes cozy is just a little bit too slow for me. I need a little bit more action or a little bit higher stakes. So we have The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. After watching the movie, yes, I want to read book 2 and 3. I heard 3 isn't as good, but for sure book 2, everyone says it's amazing. So yes, at some point I will be reading those. Next we have Rose Hill by Elsie Silver. I read the first book and I thought it was okay, but I've heard it only goes up from there, so I need to keep reading, so I will, I promise. It's Elsie Silver, so I know that it's going to be sweet, it's going to be spicy, so maybe during the summer. I feel like I read more romance during the summer, just because that's just like, a summer vibe to me. We have Off the Ice by BACKKKKK. I think book 2 is Spiral, and I think it's like a ballerina and a hockey player. At some point, yeah, I think I'm interested. Not high on my priority TBR, but I do love a good hockey romance, so yes. I have Vancouver Storm by Avery Keelan, another hockey romance. I think book 2 is it The Fake Out? Or is that a Stephanie? I don't know. I might get it mixed up with something else. Anyways, the first book I thought was really good. Like with the other series, it's not high on my priority TBR right now. So we'll see which way the wind blows and where it takes me. We have Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I know this is duology, so I still need to read. What is it called? I can't remember right now, but you'll see it. Yes, I want to read this at some point. I really loved Six of Crows. I loved the yearning in it. And then I've heard the second book is even better. So yes, some point you will see me read it. Then we have Crescent City and ACOTAR by Sarah J. Maas. I am all caught up with these, just waiting. So I know ACOTAR 6 and 7 are coming out later this year and early next year. We haven't heard anything about Crescent City, but I know that series is also still continuing, so both of them, just know I am foaming at the edges of my mouth for these books. So I am so excited. We have Never After by Emily McIntyre. This is kind of like her reimagined fairy tales. I know she doesn't like call them directly fairy tales, but I know they're loosely based off of Disney fairy tales, kind of. I think I've read a couple books in this series, but I don't know if I'd have the exact order down. I'm interested in reading them. They are a little bit dark, so I kind of have to be in the mood for them. So I'm not saying no, but I'm not like saying an eager yes, if that makes sense. It's kind of just like an indifferent, yeah, I'll read them. We have the Collector series by Dot Hutchison. I absolutely loved the first book, The Butterfly Garden, and then one of my besties, Lorelai, she read the second book in the series and she said it's good, but it's not as good. So I think I want to try reading it at some point. It's just, like I've said a million times by now, not super high on my priority list. We have The Last Fenestra by Emily Theed. I know I own the second book, but I barely remember what happened in the first book. So at some point you'll see me read the second book. Can I tell you when? No. And then last but not least, and there are more, but this is what I capped myself off at. Number 60 is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I've read the first book a couple of times now, once on my own and then once with the book club on campus when I went to Cal State Long Beach. And I really liked it. Yes, at some point I will finish the series. I thought the first book was really interesting, so I will. I think it's a trilogy, so I need to read the other two books. But yeah, thank you so much for sitting through this entire 30-minute yap sesh. If you're also in the middle of a lot of series, comment down below which ones you're most excited to continue. Yeah, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.